this episode of Entertaining with OTR, we are going back to that wonderful decade of the 1970s.
The era of gourmet food looked oh so delicious and sophisticated. Jell-O. And, of course, high fashion. How sexy does that look? Don't you want your man to look hot in a lime green, I don't even know if that's lime green, avocado green sweater vest? Ooh, and check out this look. And I don't even know to begin what the hell this is. But yes, we are going back to the 1970s with an episode from CBS Radio Mystery Theater called The Judge's House. Dun dun dun. In this episode, we have two gentlemen from London that wish to get out to the countryside to pursue scholarly pursuits and writing. And they decide to rent what is known in town as the Judge's House. But they ignore all the warnings, of course, that the house is possessed, it's a demon house, and all sorts of strange things happen. And of course, they go ahead not believing it, or thinking that they're lying, or exaggerating. But of course, the townspeople aren't. And all sorts, as they sit down to write, all sorts of scary, weird stuff that could have deadly consequences ensues. Now I'm going to talk about how to add 70 touches to your decor. First of all, I bought these bathroom mats, orange shaggy looking bathroom mats from a discount place. They were only $3.99, so I got about 6 of them, and I laid them on the floor surrounding the ottoman. Next, I did so-called wallpaper by using my Cricut machine, and I've talked about Cricut before, and one of the cartridges contained these 1970s looking flowers. And the most important thing is that you use reusable, removable vinyl. That way you won't rip the paint off of your wall when you stick these flowers on or other 1970s images, and then when you take them off, paint won't come off with it. Another alternative you can do is buy these canvases from the dollar store and then paint them a color from the 1970s on one of those palettes. And you could add images. I got these little images from the dollar store. Or you could cut out ads from some magazines, 1970s era magazines. I got those from the flea market antique store. Or if you can find sheets of paper that have 1970s patterns on them, you can just glue those on, glue the ads, or glue the cutouts. These inflatable chairs came from the dollar store. They look suitably groovy, and then you can see the lava lamp, the 1970s era phone, and the TV tray. Now this is a tablecloth, and I made it myself. The images on here are from ads from our promotional material from 1970s era radio stations, and so I printed those from my printer onto heat transfer fabric paper, and then so I found the images in Pinterest, printed them using my printer onto the heat transfer paper, and then using my iron, I then ironed it onto a 1970s colored type tablecloth, and this is the effect that you get. And this is the finished table. I got the 1970s era ice bucket from the antique store. Those glasses are from the antique store. And fondue is a nice touch for a menu item to eat. Now these centerpieces, what I did was I took Jell-O and I layered it, letting one color set and then adding the other color, let it set. And then I put daisies, and I got these from the dollar store, they're just artificial, and stuck them in the vase using Jell-O. And it's quite a nice little effect, I think. Now here comes the exciting part. Special effects that we can use to enhance the OTR listening experience. Now you can see here there's a DVD from Atmospherics, and it's called Unliving Portraits. And it has portraits, and you can play it on your TV or project it on the wall. And then the eyes move, or they do a scary face. You just select what portrait you want on the menu of the DVD, and then using your projector, you project it onto the wall. Or you can find images too, I'm sure, from online on YouTube if you don't want to pay the price for the atmospheric DVD. Now, right here I projected the atmospheric DVD and chose that portrait because it looks like a judge. And then using a spotlight called Fire and Ice, I plugged it in the spotlight, shined it up against the wall, and then with my projector, I projected the unliving portrait onto the wall as well. So I like this effect because it's kind of very artistic, loosey, freelance kind of, and I think it looks really cool. The second effect I'm going to show you is using the same atmospheric living portraits, and I'm going to choose TV mode. That will come up on the DVD, and so you're going to see the unliving portrait on the TV, and then we have an electric fireplace, so I'm turning on the electric fireplace because in the OTR episode, we have flames of fire and portraits doing weird things. This is the atmospheric DVD close up. And so this DVD, the Unliving Portraits, really suits this, and the flame from the fireplace and the flame from the Fire and Ice spotlight I chose before, they all enhance this episode. Because as I said, we have a judge's portrait that's haunted, we have flames from hell, and then we also have, of course, rats. And what I've done for this effect is taken a piece of styrofoam, painted it the same kind of lighter shade than the wall, cut a tear in it, and I got a plastic rat from the dollar store. So I wedged the styrofoam up on the ceiling, you'll see in just a second, and then I perched the plastic rat, on top of the TV, and then I put like a glowing light on his tail. You can see I got that light from the dollar store, and then it gives a nice glowing effect with the rat in the dark. And coming right up here, you'll see the effect you'll see the full effect. You'll see the portrait on the TV. Now that you're finished listening to your OTR episode, what else can you do? Well, you can eat. And if you do any research, you will notice that in the 70s, Jell-O was quite popular. So I set up a second table, and I have Jell-O, and the whole idea is that to have a contest, and you can see the 70s trivia game there, and the loser of the trivia game has to eat the worst, grossest Jell-O dish that there is. Now, I've found these recipes, and I put them on the dollar store canvas I had left over, then with the name of the recipe. So you could have your guests bring a Jell-O recipe, or you can make all the Jell-O recipes yourself and serve them to your poor, unfortunate guests. Yeah, check this one out. Barbecue salad with Jell-O. Wow. And they actually had Jell-O for just salads. And that's pretty disgusting. And there's a close-up of the 1970s trivia game. I think this would be a really fun touch. As I said, the loser of the trivia game has to sample all the gross dishes. And then the guest that brings the grossest Jell-O dish can win a prize as well. I think it's a very fun touch. And also in the 1970s, of course, you have disco dancing. So on Spotify or iTunes, you can make up a playlist of all the hits from the 1970s disco. Or, of course, there's lots of great movies from the 1970s, like Jaws, the Barbra Streisand version of A Star is Born, and, of course, the mothership, the big daddy of all 1970s movies, Saturday Night Fever. I hope you enjoyed this video. I loved making it, and I hope you try it and have a great time. Thank you very much for watching.